All right, everybody. Hey, we are back at Mass Media Podcast Summit, and we're not ending softly. We still got a couple sessions to go, and I am so excited on this session. When I came up with the plan to do Mass Media Summit, and we wanted to do specific segments, when I thought of YouTube and video, I thought of this lady immediately because of how she just delivers with so much amazing content. Good fortunate to meet her a couple years ago at Digital Traffic and Conversion Summit in San Diego. Then we had her on International Social Media Day for 27 hours twice. This lady just delivers a lot of great nuggets and content. And if you take what she shares with you today, I guarantee that you will do exactly as she shows you. How to get more subs, how to get more sponsors and income using your YouTube live stream. So I am so honored to have Dana Garrison join us here today. She is just an absolutely amazing video and media strategist and one of the best in the industry out there. And this lady has a passion for helping other people really kick ass and take names. So Dana, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're honored. Now, you've got some slides there. You should be able to share your screen now. If you've already got it up there sharing, that's good. So what I'll do you want me to, as people ask questions, you want to wait till the very end, or do you want me to jump in and kind of moderate? What would you prefer?
Let's, they can think of their questions. They can write it while they have it on top of mind, but let's actually answer them at the end.
Okay, sounds good. Perfect. Well, I'm going to drop off here and be in the background here, listening and watching and taking my copious amounts of notes for me as well, too. All righty.
All right, and let me know if the tech is working and the slides are progressing and all that jazz.
I will do. Well, no problem. Awesome.
All right, so today we're going to be covering how to use YouTube to get more subscribers, more sponsors, and more income for free, which is amazing that we can do this in this day and age and still have so much to get for free from social platforms like YouTube. So today you're going to learn how to find the best platform to be on to grow your podcast. We're going to be covering content ideas to market your podcast on YouTube, tips for using live video for that marketing, and tips for getting more views on your videos and building your audience. A lot of people, they've put videos out, they've tested the waters, and they weren't getting the views that they wanted. They got really discouraged. So how do you get more views on your videos? How do you build that audience with this free resource? And ways to have multiple streams of income from YouTube. We all want multiple streams of income. It is the smart way to do business. You want multiple streams of income, and you want some of those to be passive, if not the majority of those. So we'll be talking about that. And tips on getting prepped for getting sponsors. A lot of the questions that I get asked whenever I'm at conferences, whenever I'm speaking, whenever I'm online teaching, people want to know, look, how do I grow on social? But then on top of that, how do I make money? I need income to grow my business. And how do I get sponsors? Once they found out a little bit about me and my history, that these are a lot of the questions that I got asked. So who am I? I'm Dana Garrison. I'm a business and video marketing consultant. And when I first started out in the industry, I actually started out as a psychologist. So my technical specialty is business psychology and marketing psychology. How do you communicate with the world, and how do you communicate in such a way to build an audience, to start to monetize, to start to get sponsors? All of that requires good psychological communication strategy. So that has been my sort of secret sauce. And I started out as a psychologist. I was working in a toxic workplace. I don't know if you've ever worked in a toxic workplace, but it's not fun. And I knew I had to get out of there. So I took courses on business building and marketing. And I hit the ground running. And within the first month, I had a sold out consulting practice, first month and a half. And then within the first 9 months, I broke through 6 figures. And that also gave me the freedom to travel. So I started being able to not only have my own business, be my own boss, work for myself, but I also had location freedom. So I could also travel and have time freedom and space freedom. And then somewhere along the way, I ended up doing a video show. I kind of discovered social media, discovered how there was this space and place where we could reach masses of people for free, decided to jump in on video, had a video show, and it changed my life. Some of the results that I got within the first 2 weeks, I monetized, meaning I started getting income within the first 2 weeks of being on the platform. But by the way, I got on to using Twitter Live, and I didn't tell anybody that I was on there. None of my previous clients, students, lists, anything. I wanted to see what it was like to grow from scratch using social video. And within the first 2 weeks, I monetized and got a sponsor. Within the first 2 months, I had 10,000 targeted, engaged followers, thousands of views per stream, 5.5 million hearts. And there's also some videos that I started testing that outranked CNET and TechCrunch. So I was actually doing educational videos, and some of those videos that I put out on the topic that CNET and TechCrunch was competing on me with, same topic, I ended up outranking them. And then there's these side benefits of once you start getting known and once you start growing on social that are very useful for you as a creator and you as a person who has a business. One of those things is you start getting free products. I started getting microphones and lights and tripods and gear and gadgets and a GoPro, I mean, cameras, right? People, companies, brands were sending things to me because I had an audience that they wanted to court, and they knew that my audience matched the audience they were looking for, and that the products made sense to show off to my audience. So I started getting free products, which is great for a creator and somebody who's in business. I started getting sponsors. I had brands that were paying me for my content, that gave me gifts for free to give away to my audience, which is such a treat because then you're not having to pay for the gifts that you give out for your audience. It's wonderful. And on top of that, I started getting multiple streams of income. I ended up being a top affiliate for a lot of the brands that I worked with. Affiliate is where if you sell another brand's products, the brand will cut you a commission for every product sold. And with the audiences that I developed, even compared to other people who had their own following, their own audiences, and people who had larger audiences than I did, I was still outselling them. Because the secret isn't about the vanity numbers. It isn't about how many followers you have. It's about your connection with your followers and how you communicate and all of that good sort of know, like, and trust factor that video really gives you with your audience. And then other cool things like free trips where brands were flying me to cool places, expenses paid, to conferences and events that I wanted to go to anyways, and they were taking me on their dime and letting me go frolic and giving me gifts to give away to my audience. I mean, it was a cool deal, let's put it that way. And then it opened doors. I got featured in or worked with a lot of these different brands here, featured on their periodicals or on their video shows, got to work with some really cool brands. I even taught video marketing to different folks at these different brands. Once you really start learning this, once you have an education in something, it stays with you forever and it helps you grow forever. So education is such an important piece to growing your podcast, your business, whatever it is that you want to grow, your social platform. So let's dive in. Content forms that marketers want to learn more about. This comes from the Social Media Examiner's industry report. On the top of the charts is video. And there's a reason for that. Video is some of the most sought after content on the internet these days. So that begs the question, what's the best platform? How do I choose which platform I'm going to be on? Well, if you want new people to find you, okay, you say you have a podcast, you're starting a podcast, you have a business, you're starting a business, or you just want to start a social channel and you want new people to find you because that's how you build an audience. New people have to find you and subscribe to you. If you want new people to find you, you need 3 ingredients. You need the platform to have volume of users. You need that platform to have a lot of people that descend upon that platform every day. You also need that platform to have time spent on platform being high. So for example, if somebody goes on the platform every day, but they only spend a minute on there, that's probably not enough time to find you and discover you because they need enough time to find new people to follow. 1 minute is probably not enough. So volume of users on platform is important when you research what platform should I be on. Time spent on platform, also uber important. And this next piece is something that gets overlooked some of the most, and that is discoverability. You need people to be able to actually locate you. And a lot of social platforms, it's not easy to get found on. Like if you think about Facebook, for example, if you've ever tried going live on Facebook, there's not a lot of people that generally show up because you're singing to the choir in a way. You're kind of only going live to your own followers, people who are already your friends. If you're doing it on your personal profile, if you're doing it in a group, it's the people in the group. If you're doing it from your business page, you kind of have to pay to play these days. People can't really find you that easily unless you pay. So one of the things to think about when you're thinking about what platform should I be on is discoverability. Can I be discovered easily on that platform so I can get new subscribers? So the smartest platform for audience building, I did a lot of research on this, looking at all the social platforms that are available and how easy it is to be found on them, as well as all these factors. Easiest one ends up being YouTube. In terms of volume, YouTube has 2 billion unique monthly active users. That means 2 billion unique different people, not 2 billion views every month, but 2 billion different humans that are descending upon the platform to get their social content for the day. And YouTube reaches, get this freaked me out. I didn't even realize it was this big. YouTube reaches more 18 to 49-year-olds than all the cable TV networks combined. That's
wow.
kind of nuts.
Wow.
That's a crazy statistic, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's crazy, but shows how powerful it is, though, you know?
And it's free. And it's available to us. It's not owned by Paramount, and you have to get chosen by the people at Paramount to have a show on there. This is nuts. And this is a turning point in history. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. So yeah, that's a crazy stat. In terms of time, 250 million hours of watch time every single day. Not every month, not every year, every day. That's nuts. Discoverability. Okay, this is really cool. When I discovered this, I was like, this is it. This is the platform. In terms of discoverability, it is really difficult to get discovered on the other platforms that are out there. It can be unless you pay. So YouTube is owned by Google, and Google is the most used search engine on the planet. YouTube is the second most used search engine on the planet. That means whenever somebody has a question, they want to learn something, they're curious about something, they're thinking about something, the first place they go is Google. The second place they go is YouTube. Here's the even cooler part. When you rank high on YouTube, when your video is on the first couple pages on YouTube, which you can do for free without paying money, you also rank on the first few pages of Google for free without paying money. So you can, for free, get your content on the top pages of YouTube and Google, which are the two most gone after sites when anybody's thinking about, curious about, or wanting to know something about anything. So once I learned all these facts, I was like, I'm in. This is where it is the smartest to be, and it's free. So let's take a look at some of the results of market research about what people want to learn and about marketing in general. So Cisco said that by 2021, 80% of all internet traffic will be video. They also said that 1.9 billion internet video users, there will be 1.9 billion internet video users by that time, and 3 trillion minutes of video being watched each month. This is where the whole sort of society is going. They want to get their content a lot through video. Or at least that's where they're searching for stuff as well, right? Like search is one of the biggest reasons that people go online, with YouTube and Google being the top 2 sites. And then 91% of people want to know how to improve their organic reach. So when people are thinking about marketing, they're starting to think now, hey, how do I do this organically? Meaning, how do I do this for free rather than using the paid methods? So let's take a look at why video marketing is sort of the central place you want to be thinking. So one is, let me move there's a little thing over the screen for me. All right, so one is it increases the speed and volume of your subscribers and sales because discoverability is so easy, in this case on YouTube. You can get free products, entry to cool events. You saw what happened for me. As you become more visible and more discoverable, as people see you on video, especially if you're willing to at least once in a while have your face on video, the know, like, and trust factor when people can see you, even if it's for a moment, grows so exponentially. because that psychologically feels much more like real human connection. And of course, we get so much information when we get to see someone, right? When we get to see the body language and the facial expressions and all of that. So that has so much value for your personal brand. That has so much value for your podcast, for your business, when people can get a glimpse of you, the person behind all the magic. And then these offers start coming in, free products, free entry, being flown to cool events, speaking engagements. I got a lot of offers for speaking engagements once people got a glimpse of me and sort of heard me and experienced me teaching. And of course, if you are down for that and you say yes to speaking engagements, that's even more free exposure to an audience that helps you build your podcast, your business, your social channels. It's also easier to connect with influencers once you're out there, and other influencers, other people who themselves have a sizely audience, see you. One of the things that I noticed is once I became known, when I would at conferences roll up to somebody who maybe even had a bigger platform than I did, they were very open and receptive because they knew I was already in the scene, if that makes any sense. There's already that, basic level of connection where they don't look at you as, oh, this is another fan coming up to me that just like wants to say hi and take a photo. They look at you as a peer, take you seriously, and that starts to open doors for collaborations and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So being on there and having you, being able to be seen is highly useful, even though, as we're going to get into later, you don't have to be seen on video. It's just useful if once in a while you do. It's also easier to gain sponsors. It's easier to work with brands because, especially if you're going to take some time to find some products that would fit your audience, and let's say you talk about and show those products once in a while, brands start to see like, oh, hey, this person is good at doing a demo, showing off a product. I think I want to work with them. It's much easier to gain sponsors once they can see how you handle that opportunity when you're already doing it on your own. And this is something that Scott mentioned a moment ago. I just wanted to share why I even teach this, why I even feel passionate about teaching this and making this a part of what I focus on in terms of how I help people. We are at the beginning of a turning point in history. This is the first time in history where the power has been in the hands of the people. And we've had the ability to produce content just using our cell phones and put it out there. And we have the power of global distribution at our fingertips. So our ability as individual people, without having to go through the gatekeepers of Paramount or Universal and getting chosen for a show or NBC or whatever, we can get our message out there. We can affect the change that we want to see in the world. We can do things that we're passionate about and share that with the world and get our message out there. So I love being able to help people have fulfillment in their lives, because when you get to do something that you care about, that makes you happy, that makes you joyful, that changes your experience of life. It creates happier, healthier people. And then you get to impact the lives of others. And I want to see ripples of positive change going on the planet. One person can't do it all by themselves, right? If you want to affect positive change, the best way that I find to do that is to make sure that I'm igniting as many other people as possible who all have their way of making an impact on the planet. And we're all doing it together in our own ways. And by the way, this is still the land grab era for staking your claim on social media. This is still new and this is still young. This is the beginning of where people are starting to build their empires. So you have a free resource right in front of you. YouTube is free global distribution, and take it and get your message out there. So that's what we're gonna be covering today is, well, how do we start to do that? So let's dive into YouTube content ideas. First of all, if you are already shooting a podcast, recording a podcast, you can video record the podcast, the making of it, or you can go live while you're recording the podcast. Right? So if you're already doing that work anyways, you can, for example, use Skype. And let's say you do use Skype in order to, like you're going to interview someone. If you have an interview show, you can broadcast that out and do that as a live. You can also just record it and put it up after the fact. And this builds the know, like, and trust factor faster than other media, because like I said earlier, when people can see you, if you're down to be seen on video, people will really develop that relationship with you and that connection with you so much faster. It's amazing. And it's just because of psychologically how we work as humans. Being able to see someone else helps you connect to them deeper. Now, in terms of content, to give you some ideas here, to get the wheels rolling and turning, there's 4 E's to really great content. One of the things that performs really well is educational content. People love to learn. They love to learn for free. So what can you teach? If some of the time it's what's on your podcast, and of course you're probably teaching something or illuminating something on your podcast, that can go up. Great content for YouTube. You can also make separate videos where you are giving extra value, giving extra content that's educational, that matches whatever your podcast is about, whatever your business is about. Other content that performs well is emotional content. And what I mean by that is, if you're telling stories that inspire emotion somewhere during the video, anything that brings about an emotion in another person or in you while you're on camera, anything that has emotionality to it is really captivating and draws people in. So anytime you can include something that has to do with emotion, emotionality, bring it. And even if that's joyfulness, laughter, that all counts. Next is entertaining. What can you bring in that adds to the entertainment value? If you yourself gesture a lot, if you're kind of goofy, if you're kind of animated, that helps. If you do something silly, if you have a talent, if you play an instrument and for a moment you drop that in there just for funsies, that counts. If you like to crack a few dad jokes, that works, right? Anything that adds to the entertainment value is going to be uber useful for your videos. And don't sweat it. Don't feel like you have to be some kind of actor or star in order for that to work. You can be entertaining just by being your silly self. You can have other elements of entertainment, like bringing your cat or your dog on screen. People eat that stuff up. And that adds to the entertainment value. If you have kids, all of a sudden, you have a shot of the kids being cute or singing or dancing. If you dance, a moment of dancing in there. Anything that adds to the entertainment value, bring it in. And then last is experiential. Experiential content is anything that kind of brings people along with you for the ride. So experiential in part, when you're recording your podcast, if that's what you're focusing on, right? And you're recording it yourself, so you're filming behind the scenes. That's experiential. People are getting to see behind the scenes into how you make your podcast. If you're interviewing someone, that's behind the scenes. And if you're filming a bit of that, it gives people an experience. But also, let's say that you are going to do something to build some aspect of your business and you take the camera along. Like, I'm going to go get a business license, or I'm going to go do this or that. Just having people come along for the experience allows them to feel like they're getting to know you more and experiencing a part of life with you, or a part of business, or a part of podcasting. Now, here's the thing with the 4 E's. You can stack them. And the more you stack can make it even better. So if you just use one, let's say educational content, great, you're educating. But now what if you add emotionality to it? What if you add a little bit of fun stories? Or even, it doesn't have to be fun. What if there's a sad story dropped in there? This was really difficult when I was trying to learn how to do X and I ran into these issues. Then you bring entertainment in. You're gesturing, you're animated, you're cracking a dad joke. And then maybe you bring experiential in for a moment. And you say, hold on a second, I'm gonna make a cup of coffee, and you bring the camera with you. As you stack all of these, you get even more richness in your video. So as you're thinking of, well, what can I put on my YouTube channel? These 4 E's will help you kind of get the baseline going of what to put on there. And in terms of what's probably easiest for you, just going live while you're recording your podcast, or just recording a video and putting it up after the fact is probably easiest as a place to get started. But from there, you can build on that. Now, in terms of prepping for a live, let's say you are going to go live and you make it a practice. You're going to tell your audience, hey, every time I record the podcast, I am going to go live on YouTube. That gives you an opportunity to join me live behind the scenes while I record. And at the end of the recording, I'll take questions, or my guest will take questions. So that gives people incentive, not only because they're curious of what behind the scenes looks like, but they get to ask you questions. There's an added benefit of showing up live. And if you schedule that and let them know ahead of time, they can join you and they can kind of get used to that, and boom, You got an audience that helps you audience build also on YouTube, because when you have engagement and interaction on a video, YouTube pushes it out more. So before you go live, announce it to your list, announce it to your email list, announce it on your socials, like, hey, I'm going to be recording a podcast Friday, 1 p.m. Join me. We're going to be talking about this, and you get to ask questions. Let them know ahead of time. And remember to use hashtags. Because you want discoverability, hashtags on most social platforms is a way for your post to get discovered. So don't forget about those guys. And then best times to go live. I get that question a lot. What's the best time to go live? What's the best time to publish my video? All depends on your audience. For everyone's audience, it's different. So for this, you're going to have to test a little bit and find out, or if you have an email list or a way of contacting your listeners and your audience, you can ask them, hey, what's the best time you could actually join me for live? Or if I'm going to start releasing videos on a regular basis, what's the best time where you're actually able to watch them right when I release them? And then you can engage with me in the comments. I can answer questions in the comments. So best time is always dependent on your population, your audience. Now, these guys, you might recognize some of these guys. They are all podcasters, and many of them, if not most of them, I discovered because they were using video. I wasn't in the podcast world. This is back in the day. I wasn't in the podcast world just sampling all these different podcasts, trying to discover new people. But I was on social platforms that had video and just looking for content, and new stuff would be served up to me, suggested stuff, things that people would share out. And I discovered these podcasters, not through any podcast platform, but through their usage of social video. And what's cool about it is I was able to engage with them in the comments and start to develop a relationship with them where I got to know them personally, not only because we started talking on their videos, but then when I saw them and met up with them at conferences, many of them I now have personal relationships with. And it all started because of video, and because on video you can comment and have that engagement and interaction with the author. All right, so let's look at more tips for YouTube marketing. When you're filming, one of the things that people do love is faces. If you're willing to put your face on screen, at least some of the time, once in a while, do it. Psychologically, you're going to get more connection. People really love getting to experience you. So if you're willing to, and for those of you that are a little more camera shy, just remember, you can sit further back from the camera. You don't have to be super close up with the camera right up on your face. A lot of times when you sit further back, you're more at a distance. It does feel like you have a little more space. So that's a tip for you to get more comfortable with using your face on camera. But you don't have to. You can use your computer screen. Look at what we're doing right now. There is a presentation on screen. You can do the exact same thing because you're still delivering value. You're still giving people an experience to have more of their senses engaged with you. So for example, when it comes to podcasting, one sense is engaged with you. But if you're using video, there's often another sense that gets engaged. Could be multiple, right? Especially when you're using things like emotionality in there. But with the computer screen, even if it's not your face, you're allowing their eyes to be a part of the connection experience and the learning experience. There's a lot of visual learners out there. So having some words, having some PowerPoint, something up on the screen, even if it's just pictures that help to illustrate your point, that's helpful. Remember that you can use the back-facing camera on your phone. And by the way, don't go into gear fear where you think, oh my God, I really want to do this. I want to start using YouTube. It is free right now. I want to start getting on there because what if they start charging? What if it starts being more difficult? I want to build on YouTube, but now I need to go buy a whole bunch of gear and I don't have the money. Oh, I can't get started. Don't go into gear fear. Just use your cell phone. So many people on YouTube who are mega big stars for years of their channel just use their cell phone. Years, not months, years. Just use your cell phone. Just use the window and daylight or a lamp. I've just used lamps in my house. Like, don't overthink it. Just get started. You can use the back-facing camera for your videos. You can get a tripod or some mechanism that even just holds your phone up like this using the back-facing camera facing down at the table. And you can have, let's say, notes about what you're going to be talking about on the table. And as you're doing your podcast, as you're teaching, as you're interviewing someone, You can have notes on the table, and what's happening is the video is capturing you taking notes, making notes, checking off questions you're asking. It's still content that brings people into the experience of behind the scenes and in the making of. So if you're not comfortable with your face on camera yet, use the back facing camera, aim it at your desk. You can also just take your podcast. People aren't always doing this, and you've got this free resource, free YouTube, which is take your audio of your podcast and slap that up on YouTube. Get some new listeners and new audience just by putting your audio up on YouTube. You can use, have you ever seen how people use like they use usually like the cover of their, the cover art of their podcast as what's on screen, just a still photo. And then they have a waveform that's moving. Every time their voice moves, the waveform moves. You could do the exact same thing. Get your podcast episodes up on YouTube so you can get more free audience building. And then remember your calls to action. People forget these. You want to remind people to share the video, and you want to remind people to comment. YouTube likes it when it sees that there's engagement on your video, and shares and comments have more value because likes are so easy to buy compared to something like a share and a comment. Has more depth, especially people can also see if you're buying comments when they don't make any sense, right? But shares, comments, they have more weight. So remember to do that, and remember, please remember to list build from YouTube. You need to list build from your podcast as well. You never want to rely on someone else's real estate to always be there for you. Because just like Vine, which is a social platform that shut down, and all those people that had huge audiences on there lost all of their audiences in a day. After years of hard work, how would you feel if you lost all your peeps? After years of hard work, you've got to get their deeps. You've got to get their digits. So you want to list build. You want to tell people on your podcast, you want to tell people on YouTube, hey, sign up over here on my email list. And you might even have a text message list, right? So get the digits, get the email, so that you can always stay in touch with them. And anytime that you're joining a new platform, maybe you're going to start on a new social platform, maybe one of your platforms dies and you got to switch. Not everybody listens to every single one of your podcast episodes. Not everybody watches all of your YouTube videos. So you want to have a way to reach people, because if you say it in one podcast episode, you can even say it in 5 podcast episodes and 5 YouTube videos. There's a lot of people that may not see those particular 5, and then they don't know, hey, I'm switching from this platform to this platform, or whatever the news is. So always get their digits, always get their emails, and then you can always stay in touch with them. Now let's talk about money. Let's talk about income and increasing your income. Internal monetization. YouTube has all these ways to monetize now. I don't know if you know about this. There is super chat. There are super stickers. When you go live on YouTube, people can send you money. When they send you money, a super chat comment, they throw in $5, $10, $20, $50. It keeps their comment on the screen longer. It makes it more visible. So they're paying because they're tipping you. They want to send you money. They want to tip you. But they're also themselves getting exposure because their comment is highlighted and stays on longer. Super stickers the same way. Super stickers people buy. I don't know if you've ever been on live platforms where you can buy gifts, and you purchase gifts and then you send them to your favorite streamer. This is the exact same thing. It's, imagine just like a little sticker. Sometimes the sticker is a little bit animated, and maybe you pay $1 for the sticker, $5, $10, $20, and you send it to your favorite streamer. It gives the person who sent it more visibility on screen because that sticker is big, right? It makes their comment bigger. At the same time, they're sending you money. And people do like to tip other people that bring them value. So as you are bringing value into the world with what you do on your podcast, with what you do in your business, with what you do on your social channels, people like to pay you back. Channel memberships. This is a newer feature on YouTube. They have channel memberships. So if you're familiar with Patreon, this is YouTube's version. Basically, people can become members of your channel, and every month they can pay $5, $10, $20, $50 to be a member. And you just set it up to have tiers. At the $5 tier, if you guys join as members, you get all these things. At the $10 tier, you get all these bonuses. At the $20 tier, you get these bonuses. So you incentivize them. You give them a reason to become a member. You give them more value the higher in the ranks they go. And then you have subscriptions. You have monthly payments that are happening through your channel on YouTube. YouTube also opened merch shelf. Merch shelf. You can sell your own merch on YouTube now. And it's a way that people can buy under your video on YouTube. They don't have to leave the platform to see your store. Your store is now hosted by YouTube. So that's internal monetization on the YouTube platform. But then you know that I'm always going to be inspiring you and encouraging you to have multiple streams of income. So that's already multiple streams of income. But now let's talk about external monetization. So that means off the YouTube platform, how do you make money from your YouTube videos? Well, there's affiliate and referral offers. So you can sell other people's products and services. You can basically talk about them and say, hey, this is a really great course. If you know, on this podcast, we interviewed so-and-so, and they have this course that's really amazing. If you want to dive deeper in what they taught today, go here. And then any of your audience members that sign up, that person sends you commission checks in the mail. Products, services, anything that somebody else has, they're doing all the work, you get the paycheck. Great way to go. You can also do your own products and services. So as you grow, you may, if not might, if not hopefully, develop your own products and services that you can offer. Another stream of income coming in. Online courses, membership sites, coaching, consulting, who knows? Depends on what you teach, right? What you do, but there's lots of different ways you can slice and dice that. Patreon, like we mentioned before, is the membership site that people can be a monthly subscriber to your channel, but instead of using YouTube's version, because you have to have 30,000 subscribers before you can use channel memberships, if I remember correctly. With Patreon, you can get started right away, right from the beginning, right from the jump. So Patreon does the same thing, levels, bonuses for those levels. And then influencer marketing. That's where brands work with you, and they may very well send you free stuff. And then you can, talk about, demo their stuff, teach your audience about the stuff. It's got to be stuff that makes sense to show your audience. Don't do stuff that doesn't make any sense to your audience, or else you're going to burn your audience out. They're going to be like, I don't trust this person. They're just trying to hawk anything at me. Don't do that. Only do products and services that match what your audience would actually care about. Make sure it's a fit. But when you do, brands can send you stuff. You can start becoming an affiliate of theirs and start making commission checks from any of those sales. And remember, YouTube videos are working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 a year. It is like creating a Oompa Loompa. Every video is like an Oompa Loompa that works for you around the clock, bringing you more visibility, more subscribers, more business, like all of it. All of it. You're just creating like a factory of little workers that work around the clock globally for you. So micro influencers, I put that on the screen because some people say, well, I'm not going to be able to get a sponsor until I've got like 10,000 followers. This is going to take forever. I got a sponsor within the first 2 weeks of getting started on social video. If I can do it, you can do it too. There's lots of ways to, number one, start building your audience, and number two, start thinking about how do I work with sponsors and start building those relationships with sponsors. You'd be surprised. One of the biggest things in influencer marketing these days is not working with the biggest big of people, because a lot of times they don't have a close-knit relationship with their audience. A lot of brands are now looking at what's called micro influencers and nano influencers, which is people that have much smaller audiences, but they are tighter. Because micro and nano influencers, people with smaller audiences, tend to know their audiences a lot better. They're in there talking to all the people in the comments. They know a lot of people by name, if not all of them by name, right? So this is a thing that's happening in the field. You are in the right place at the right time to be able to jump in on the micro and nano influencer thing that's happening. So you can have multiple streams of income. And remember, a lot of this is passive. That means that you're making money while you sleep, while you play, while you go on vacation, while you're doing something else. All these videos are making you money in the background while you're not working. And that is exactly what you want to set up in your life if you want financial freedom and location freedom, so you can travel. All right, getting sponsors, a huge question I get asked about a lot. People are so curious how I was able to do it so quickly. And there is some secret sauce to that. So you want free products. You want to get sponsors. You want to work with brands. How do we make that happen? First of all, it's how you set things up. You have got to stay niched. You cannot be like, all right, I'm going to be talking about this subject matter, like how to train dogs, but then I'm also going to talk about how to travel because I just love that. And then I'm also going to do a little bit about beauty because I also love beauty. Yeah. I'm just going to focus on the topics I love the most. Well, guess what? Now you have a super watered down audience because you got 3 different types of people coming. Brands don't want that. If a brand wants to work with you to reach your audience, they want to know it's a good fit. They don't want to reach 30 people that are interested in what they got and the rest of the other 100 over there don't care at all. They want a good fit. So as you are building your YouTube channel, you want to think, all right, I got to stay focused and attract a certain kind of person. Stay niched, stay focused, build a targeted audience of a certain kind of population. For me, as I was growing, I was working with people, I was attracting entrepreneurs and creators, people who wanted to grow on social media, wanted to use social media because they wanted to grow whatever they were passionate about on their social channel or their business. And part of that was podcasters as well. I've spoken at tons of podcasters conferences because it is its own small business, right? So you want to build a targeted audience, and then you want to build trust with that audience by being integritous with them. Don't burn your audience. Don't do things with them that break the trust. Don't start hawking products that don't make any sense to them. You will burn the trust you've started to build. So stay in integrity and deliver a lot of value to your audience. Give and nurture them. And they will grow this bond with you because they see you all the time and you're regularly helping them and entertaining them or teaching them or whatever it is that you do for them. You are with them continually, so consistency is a part of this. And then research what products and services fit your audience. Start thinking like, all right, well, this is the audience I'm building. What are some of the products? What are some of the services that would be a good fit? And as you start getting ideas about that, you can start doing demos of those products. You can start talking about the features of those products or services. You might be talking about somebody else. Like if you do have a show where you bring on a guest speaker, that is an opportunity to show off somebody else who may have a product or service. So start doing that and getting practice at being able to talk about other people's products and services in a way that's interesting, in a way that's educational, in a way that's inspiring, and that get people excited and interested in whatever it is, allowing people to see the real value of other people's products and services. If you're good at being able to demo or be able to teach or talk about other people's products and services, that helps because brands can start to see, oh, this person knows what they're doing. I've already seen them do it in their videos before. They did it with this product, they did it with that service. I see their style. I know what they're capable of now. So you're building trust before you've even begun the relationship with the brand, just by having some videos out there, some content out there that already does this. And then you want to start building the relationships with those brands. You know, I've seen brands, one of the things that I hear, I have relationships with a lot of brands. I get to hear the inside talk about what they look for and how they discover influencers. One of the ways they discover influencers is they go on social and they notice who's already talking about them or already using their product. So if you're on social, and let's say you do a post on Facebook or Twitter and you use a hashtag to the brand, or you at the brand, and then you talk about whatever product you're enjoying using or whatever service you're enjoying using, use some hashtags, they're starting to see like, oh, hey, this is one of our customers already. And hey, they're pretty good at talking about and sharing what they enjoy about our product. So brands have told me that they have also just looked at who's already a customer or who's already talking about them and started to choose from that pile. Because it's organic, right? It's natural. It's like, hey, this is someone that already loves us and I can see they're good at communicating. This is awesome. Let's reach out to them. So you can start to build that relationship just by putting yourself out there, being on social, creating content. So if you got those YouTube videos up, remember, YouTube's got that discoverability. If brands go in and they do this, they're looking for who's talking about them. They're going to type their own brand name into YouTube, and they're going to see who's talking about them, who's making videos about them already. So start to build that up. Let brands see that you are already someone who's capable of talking about products and services. And that starts to grease the wheels. And then as you start to go and grow, you will encounter brands. You will encounter brands sometimes at meetups, sometimes at conferences, sometimes online somehow. And then you can start that conversation, and you've got backup proof already stacked up that you know what you're doing. You know how to talk about products and services and educate about them. Now, tips on getting views on your YouTube videos. Here's one of the problems. I have people come up and they say, hey, I tried this, or I've already tried YouTube before. I put some videos up. I didn't get any views. Like, it doesn't seem like it's working. Maybe YouTube's broken. Maybe I'm too late. Maybe the train's already left and I've already missed that train. No. There's a way to get views, but you have to learn the system. You have to learn the steps. So don't think that it's one of those, if I build it, they will come kind of situations. A lot of people think that with their website or with social or even with their podcast, anything about their business. Like, I built it, I put it out there. Hey, how come I'm getting no hits? How come nobody's like writing into me? It's because that's not how it works. Once you put your content or your website or your business or whatever you put up and out there, then you have to find ways to get eyeballs on it. And that is something that you can learn. It's not rocket science, but you do have to take the time to learn it. So first thing, I'm going to drop some tips here on how to get more views on your YouTube videos. First thing is keyword research. This is a step that a lot of people miss. It is one of the most important steps. You want to look at, okay, let's go back. Let's think, how does YouTube work? People go in the search bar. If they're curious about something, they want to learn more about something, they got something on their mind already. So they're going to type something in the search bar because they're looking for a certain kind of content. What would they type if they were looking for whatever I just made a video about? Or in this case, I'm going to say, do the keyword research before you even make your video. So if you have, let's say you're going to film a podcast episode, you're like, all right, I know that this podcast episode that's coming up, I'm going to be teaching about how to train. I'm a dog trainer. I'm going to teach how your dog, I'm going to be teaching about how to make your dog sit. What are some of the ways that you could teach your dog how to sit? Great. Well, the mistake that a lot of people make is they title, even their podcast title, something very colloquial, very conversational, like teaching my dog Maddie to sit. Because that's what you did. I taught my dog Maddie how to sit. You're listening in on how I did it. Let's go. That doesn't work on YouTube because nobody's going in the search bar to type teaching my dog Maddie how to sit, because their dog isn't named Maddie. So you got to think, all right, if they were looking for this kind of content, what would they probably type? So the technique here, there's multiple techniques to do this. I'm just going to teach you one that's really quick and easy, which is use YouTube search bar. Think yourself, what might people type? Start to type it in there and see what YouTube suggests to you. YouTube will pop up as suggestions what a lot of people are actually typing to look for that kind of content. So they're giving you information about what people are typing to look for that. So write those things down. And in terms of your title, when you're going to put your video up, you want to use the keywords that you discovered in the YouTube search bar in your title. So for example, if I am looking to teach my dog how to sit, and I originally titled my podcast teaching Maddie how to sit, but then I did the keyword research on YouTube. I'm like, oh, they're not searching for that. They're searching for how to teach your dog to sit. That is literally the sentence that came up. And I did the research before putting this together, so that is exactly what comes up. And so you're like, all right, that's how people phrase it when they're looking for this information. Great. I'm going to use that in my title. All right. Then in the description is that big section under your video where you talk about what's in your video. In your description, you want to put keywords that you discovered in the YouTube search bar as sentences in your description. Don't put keywords that don't match what you actually talked about that day on the podcast or put in that video. Only use keywords and keyword phrases that match what you discussed in the video, what you talked about on your podcast, if that's what's on the video. Put that in the description, because then when people do type that in the search bar, YouTube is like, oh, this video talks about that. Here you go, person, watch this video. Is this what you're looking for? So make sure you are filling out your description. Don't leave that stuff blank. I know you might see some other YouTubers out there not putting much in there. Maybe they're already, either they don't know that they should, or they're already big and they're thinking, I don't need to. I already got big enough audience. I got enough subscribers. Whatever the reason is, don't model that. Use all of the methods at your disposal. What you put in the description helps. Use it. And then if you're trying to get more eyeballs, or I guess earballs on your podcast, put your podcast links in the description. You might have your Stitcher one there, your iTunes one's there, your Anchor one. Let people know where to find the podcast so they can subscribe there as well. And then tags. There's a section under the description where you can put tags for your video. What you want to do is use some of the keywords that you found and put them in the tags as well. So you want to use specific keywords and general keywords. Let me give you an example of that. Specific keyword, how to teach your dog to sit. That's very specific. That is what I taught in this video and on my podcast. I'm putting that in the tag. But then a general tag would be dog training. Dog training, that's in general what I'm talking about. Teaching your dogs to sit, that's specifically what I was talking about. So that's how you can use tags to your benefit. And then last few tips here, just tips for growth. When you upload, make sure that you are uploading as a private or unlisted video so that it gives you time to fill out the title and the description and the tags before it goes live. You don't want it to go live when you don't have that stuff filled in yet, because YouTube is looking at that stuff in order to push your video out. And that's how you get new viewers. That's how you get new subscribers. That's how you build your podcast and your business. So don't let YouTube think, oh, this is all blank. I don't know who to send this to. Don't make it public until you filled all that stuff in. On the end screen, you've probably seen this on YouTube videos, at the very end, there's clickable videos and buttons. Remember to put your subscribe button. You can choose to have like a subscribe button show up on there. Make sure that's on there so people can subscribe to you, as well as your recent upload. That way they can always see what is most recent. YouTube likes people to be clicking on and viewing your most recent video. So put that at the end it's like one of the things you can do. You can tell YouTube, whatever my most recent video is, always show that in this spot. So put that on there. It'll help your channel grow. And last thing I want to teach is thumbnails. That is your cover photo or cover image on your video. Here are some tips that have to do with psychology that will help you get more clicks and more views on your video. Faces. Humans are attracted to faces psychologically. They're attracted to eyes. So if you can have your face or somebody's face on there, it is useful, especially if that face is emoting, smiling, frowning, scared, sad, happy. Then colors. You can use your brand colors that match your business or your podcast. You can also use colors that go well together and grab people's attention. Keywords. You can put a couple of the keywords, a few of the keywords, probably not more than 5 words, on your thumbnail, on your cover image, so that people can see what the video is about. Google and YouTube can read the words that are on your thumbnail, your cover image. But remember, the reason I'm only saying like up to 5 words, maybe max, is most people, the majority of people are watching YouTube on their cell phones. That thumbnail, that cover image is this big. So you got to have the face that you put on there pretty big. You got to have the words be really big and bold, or people cannot read it on their phones. Don't use any fancy script, kind of signature-y looking stuff. People can't read it. Big, bold letters, not too many words. All right, so this is really kind of part 1 of the YouTube crash course. You can get part 2. This was, there's so much more to go. So I'm going to do a part 2 for free. YouTube crash course part 2. You go to dana.tips/YTCC, stands for YouTube crash course. Sign up there, put your email there, and then check your spam. You know that a lot of times when you get emails, especially if it's from someone that has a branded email, it ends up in spam. So check your spam. If you don't get it within 24 hours, email me, contact me. Go to dana.tips/contact and contact me and say, hey, Dana, I didn't get the invitation to part 2 of this course that you're going to do for free. Can you hook me up? And I will sign you up. So we have time for questions. Oh, I can't hear you though.
It helps if I don't hit the mute button.
Awesome.
So I put the link there, guys, to dana.tips/YTCC YouTube crash course. in the chat roll. You can click on that, and so they get aware of that. If you're listening to this, that link will actually be in the descriptions on YouTube as well for you guys there. What's the thing that just drives you bonkers the most when you look at somebody's YouTube channel, Dana? What's the thing that's just like your biggest pet peeve when you see things?
My goodness. They often are not doing some of the very things I just taught, which is on their thumbnail, their cover image of their video. They've got like small scripted words that nobody can see and nobody can read. And they are titling their videos something horrendous that nobody would ever search for ever. So of course they're not getting views. Oh, as a podcaster, do not put podcast episode 46 as the first words of your YouTube title. Nobody's searching for podcast episode 46 as what they put in the search bar. So do not put, you can put that in the description. Don't put it in the title. If you insist to put it in the title, put it at the very end of the title, not the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Larry asked a question. Can you repurpose your Facebook live videos for YouTube? Once you go live, oh yes, you can, Larry. Repurpose, if you go live on Facebook, Hani Murray talked about yesterday that you can set it up where to automatically upload to YouTube. I would make sure and not upload it manually just for the reasons that Dana just said. You're going to want to go in there and tweak it. You want to adjust some things.
Yeah. A lot of times with live content, there's these long pauses. This is something I'll be covering in Crash Course Part 2 about when you go live, how not to have terrible replay lives, because a lot of people do things on their lives that make the replay value of that live video something that no one wants to watch, because it doesn't work as a replay when it's not live if you do certain things. So I want to teach you what not to do. But you can absolutely download that video. You can edit it to cut out parts that are just like, you're kind of like, what's this comment where I can't find, stuff that's just kind of boring to watch. You can cut that stuff out, then upload it to YouTube as a fresh, video where everything is more cohesive and makes sense.
Mm-hmm. He asked, what editing software do you recommend for doing that? Do you have anything that you like particularly, Dana?
I say whatever is easiest for you. If you are starting out and you don't have money, there are free resources that you can do on your cell phone. If you want to be a cell phone editor, they've got, different apps online on the app stores that are free to use. Like, there's a bunch. Here's the thing. Read the reviews and switch it to the most recent reviews, because a lot of times some of these apps have high stars and you're like, oh, this must be a good one. But you don't look at the recent reviews where it's all like 1 star for like months. And it's because they changed something and it broke their software and it doesn't work very well anymore. So there's free stuff to do on your phone. And then there's the stuff that comes with your computer, like Windows Movie Maker, iMovie if you have a Mac. Those are I got my start doing that, right? I have a Mac, so I use iMovie. And then as you grow, or if you already have the money, you can purchase things like Final Cut Pro that is kind of like leveled up from, it's similar to iMovie, but it's got more bells and whistles, way more features, does a lot more. That's about, $200, $300 to purchase, but then you have it for life. That's on Mac. On PCs, a lot of people are using things like Sony Vega, Adobe Premiere Pro, things like that.
Yeah. Another thing that you could do as well, I use Fiverr a lot because I just download it there. I've got a VA that I pay that goes on there and edits a lot, tweaks a little bit here and there, but usually I'm just having them throw a intro and an outro to it, a custom intro and outro on my video versus just doing the live. Like with this, we'll put an intro on this one and a little bit of an outro on the back end to help give it a little bit more production value versus so it's like $10 a video for a guy to do like an hour and a half episode, and it's a lot cheaper than me doing it for sure. And
and depending on how complex your edits are, right? Sometimes you have to explain to a person, anytime there's these kinds of pauses, but leave these pauses in, or it can get a little complex depending on how much editing you need. If it's as simple as what Scott just said, I need an intro and an outro and just kind of do that and send it back to me. Awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And the big thing too, I have to give a big shout out. I didn't do anything with any subscribes, like cards or end screen stuff for a while. And I was like, the minute I went back and started doing it, I started seeing immediate opt-ins.
Results. Nice.
Results. Yeah. Yeah. That was one of the biggest things that lacked. But your tip about having facial expressions or somebody smiling makes all the difference as well on the click-through ratios.
Yes, it does.
Versus having the stroke face that often happens if you don't do any type of thumbnail, right?
Some random, just like,
Yeah, which it always picks the worst one, no matter what's going on for the most part.
Absolutely.
What's the most interesting thing that's come from your YouTube channel? I mean, obviously you get people subscribe and opting in and leading to things, but there's something that just stood out that was like, wow, that was kind of a surprise from a YouTube, your YouTube channel, YouTube video for you, Dana.
So one of the things that I've been doing is when I was working and doing live video all the time, I was on Twitter Live.
Yeah.
I grew that. So I'm one of these stories, but I did it right. I'm one of these stories where the platform stopped working as well.
Yeah.
And you have to leave the platform. It wasn't that the platform got shut down like Vine, but I grew and developed a wonderful audience that I had a great relationship with on Twitter Live. And then something in the mechanism broke. And when I went live, I wasn't reaching my peeps anymore. Mm-hmm. Now, luckily I was list building as I was going, so I could tell them, hey, I'm leaving, but I had to take a break because I was doing 3 to 5 hour live streams every day. Wow. I was doing marathon streams when I was doing it. So I had to take a break, and then I got hired to work in a company for a while. So I was away from creating content. But in that time, I was doing this research that I told you guys about. What's the next platform to transfer to? Where do I need to be, given everything that I need to learn about? Like, where are people? Where's the volume? Where's the discoverability, right? Where's the watch minutes every day? And I discovered YouTube. I started studying that behind the scene for a year. And then I started consulting on it. So I ran some test videos on my own channel, and I outranked CNET, yep, and I outranked TechCrunch on the topics that I was teaching on. And they have channels that have been going for so long. And I was a younger channel. And just putting those videos out, I still outranked them. So it goes to show you that even if you're starting out and you're thinking, oh, I'm late to the game or the train's already left, not true. You can outrank people that have bigger channels. They've been on YouTube for longer with just putting your video on there if you know what you're doing. And that is what blew me away. So I've been consulting around YouTube with a lot of different folks and brands. And that was what just kind of, that was what, how do you say that? that really like, that nailed it for me. I can't think of the phrase I'm looking for, but that's what really solidified it for me, was when I did some videos and they just outperformed older channels, bigger channels. And I was like, yep, this is it. I'm going all in on this. But first I did this with Twitter Live as well. Before I went full force on the platform, I studied it. Mm-hmm. And I figured out a game plan. In this case, I started consulting first before going hard because I was working for another company.
Yeah.
I stopped doing content creation for a little bit.
Right. Are you a fan of you're doing some lives there on YouTube Live, 3 hours Megathon. You still a big fan of doing that? Or do you think it's better to have something a little bit more produced and then maybe restreaming it out across multiple platforms at the same time, like you can do with Restream or others?
YouTube does love pre-recorded content. Pre-recorded content does really well on there. So not necessarily something that's live in the moment, but something that's pre-recorded. Both have value. If you are down to go live, I recommend that you do both. So if you're not down to go live, just do pre-recorded, stick to it if it's easier for you. If you're willing to do some lives, remember that's where that even deeper audience building comes. You can actually, if you're selling a product or selling someone else's services, if you're doing some kind of sponsored deal or brand deal, it's a lot easier to get people interested, like show people what's great about a product when you're live, because you can answer their questions in the moment. That is the secret sauce. That's what's different about live that pre-recorded doesn't have. And so the value of live is not only as an affiliate for other people's products and services, you're going to make more money, but you also have an opportunity to get paid while you're live with those super stickers and super chats and things like that. So I recommend both. If you're willing to do both, do both. But I don't care, like, don't feel pressured of like, oh, now I have to do both and I don't really want to. Do whatever is easiest for you. Right. The thing that I want you to do is get started. Do whatever is easiest, start there, do that. And if you just stick with even only one kind of content, like you're only going to do pre-recorded, no lives, do that. I don't want the excuses of like, oh, well, I'm not ready to do live, so I'm not going to start at all. Start now.
Mhm. How do you do you like the new community feature that YouTube has? Is the ability to be able to communicate with all your subscribers at once, like a message board. Have you toyed around any with that, son?
It's fantastic because YouTube is a social media platform and they keep building. They're getting a lot better now at fleshing out a lot of new features that make it much tighter and more cohesive for you and your community. They've got stories on there now. You know how Instagram stories, Snapchat stories, they have stories on there now where you can update on the regular just during the day. Hey, this is what's up. This is what I'm doing. So they're giving your community a lot of different ways to stay in touch with you and to get closer to you and you get close to them, as well as new ways to monetize. So they're really upping their game and I'm very pleased to see that.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. One of the things that I like doing with it is just swapping it up, it's a little bit different. Hey, we've got a new video up, or we've got a new webinar, or I'm speaking over here on a different channel. Here's a link to that to kind of cross promote where we can capture them, especially doing like webinars like these.
Yeah.
I love getting people to register because then you've got their information and then pushing them to subscribe. Then it's a way to collect and, keeping track with. So when you do have changes to your format or platforms, it's an easier way to communicate with them and let them know what's going on, and then offering up some different things. Where do you see, if you had a crystal ball, I know you don't, but you might, who knows, where do you see that aspect of, say, more YouTube live shows making that transition into more of the mainstream aspect of things? I know we're already seeing so much video, but we're starting to see, the Facebook shows, YouTube things. Do you going to see more of that taking place here in the next 12 to 24 months, with the YouTube live and all the subscription services they're doing? Do you think we'll see a lot more of that?
What we have seen with YouTube is that it is watched by like the majority. I didn't even bring the statistic up today, and I have it somewhere, which it's watched by the majority of humans on the planet.
Yeah.
Like it is the place where people are going and they're watching this instead of TV. I have so many friends that watch YouTube instead of television. So like with all these eyeballs on there looking for content, looking for education, looking for entertainment, the whole thing is about just getting on there. And I think it's more like the thing that my attention is more on is just the opportunity that's here and the fact that we're still at the beginning of this and you can still stake your claim and build your empire. The different ways that's going to be growing on there, whether it's lives, I know somebody who started with all pre-recorded and switched to all lives and was doing really well with that. It's really about what fits your audience, what fits you and your personality. What are you most comfortable with? I'm not going to prescribe, hey, you've got to do it this way to anyone. I'm going to say, look, whatever's easiest for you to get started, start with that. Just do that. And then once you kind of get the hang of things even more, you can level up from there or not. So long as you are utilizing this platform, that is the smartest platform to be on right now for all the reasons that we discussed today in terms of visibility, discoverability, and having extra streams of income. And having things that are working for you day and night, bringing you more visibility, little Oompa Loompas that are just constantly working in the background. Like, get it, go get it, use it. It's waiting for you.
Well, exactly. I mean, we keep track of it. And one of the things that we have added to that is we've added the number of hits we get per month on our YouTube channels to our sponsorship thing. And our sponsors love that.
Yes.
It's an extra thing because audio is great, but sometimes they love a lot of times they like the video because it's a different animal depending on, because our niche, like my niche of my podcast is an older crowd, which maybe not always be listening to podcasts, but they will go on YouTube and watch video there.
Yeah.
And communicate and network there. So it's just a different way to find them. And why wouldn't you want to be on the number one and number two search engines out there with video, right?
When it's free, when there's still a way to do it that's free.
Yeah, exactly. One of the big things I have learned over the last 5 years is I made a mistake where I had a couple of videos I wanted to promote, and I went online and paid for promotion, and I had my YouTube completely shut down and lost all my videos about 6 years ago. One of these services, oh yeah, we'll give you 10,000 views in 24 hours,
Oh.
And then I had a friend like, oh, you should do this. Like, okay, I'll give it a try. One video I did it, and they're like,
No.
lost everything overnight. And
Cool.
yeah, it was not a happy day. Luckily I had a lot of videos that were recorded that I moved them over to Vimeo for a little while and then upload them slowly back into a new account. But yeah, don't pay like to promote your stuff with those things, everybody. It's not a good thing on any channel.
You don't mean YouTube ads, you mean someone external.
Yes. Yeah. And it was a bot service that went and did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to try to kickstart basically your views in your channel, but it backfired.
Oh, it blew up, not just backfired. It blew up.
I am so sorry to hear. It is.
Yeah, 1,000 plus videos gone like that. And so, but it's taken a while, but I had to go back and redo some things, but I think I'm at 950 or close to 1,000 again now, but
oh no.
It's just like you say, every video is 24-hour a day, 7-day a week advertising. If you use the search engines and type in the stuff, YouTube will tell you how to get found if you just use the simple free tools. And that's so beautiful, literally for free. So.
I just saw that there was a comment that my earrings were bumping the microphone. I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's all right. You were rocking and rolling. It wasn't that big an issue. We were good. You're good to go. I was like, I'm not stopping her. You're in a roll. Good stuff there. So. Anything else? Are you headed to any new events here locally? You had podcast movement or traffic and conversion, something in the next few months or anything?
I'll be at Social Media Marketing World, actually.
Very nice. They're in San Diego.
Uh-huh.
And that's coming up here pretty soon, isn't it? In next month.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Good
stuff.
Just
got back from CES as well.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's right. How was that?
Fantastic. Lots of new brand connections there as well. So it's just lovely to be able to see and meet brands face to face and see all of their products and everything that's new that they're coming up with and coming out with. So it was a really good and fun trip.
Good. Now, are you not using the ears anymore? Yeah.
I suppose I could have worn them. I guess I've been traveling so much recently and creating content actually for a passion project that has to do with travel, where I was wearing a flower on my head that I just kind of forgot about the ears today.
You want to explain the ears? I thought it was an absolutely great kind of branding aspect of things. You want to share that?
It happened on accident. I was running a video show that allowed people to get followers from my audience. So they were getting exposure on my channel. And it was something that I did that was just fun. And it was a great community event and got people together. And I should remove these now so it's not doing it. And, people are notoriously uncomfortable when they have to talk about themselves, especially talk about themselves in a positive way. People get uncomfortable. They don't like promoting themselves. So I put on the cat ears and I said, hey, we're just having fun. This is a party. Look, let's make this kind of easy breezy. And I wore them just to make the event kind of more entertaining, more fun, more silly, less businessy. And then I was teaching business on different video shows on that channel, teaching business, teaching social media growth. And I wasn't wearing the ears. And people said, well, where are the ears? And I said, I'm teaching business now. I'm being serious. And they're like, well, put the ears on. I said, you want me to teach you business with cat ears on? And they were like, yes. And so now they inadvertently became part of my personal brand. But originally, probably 10 years ago by now, I originally started wearing them because I used to be really, really painfully shy, like meek, shy little mouse. I know it doesn't look that way, but I was. And I used to white knuckle life. I used to get stressed about small stuff. And when I started a business, anytime you get stressed, you trip up your own business if you allow the stress to take over too much. So the cat ears that I put on as a way to remind me to step out of my comfort zone and be bold, but also to stay in that playful energy, because that playful energy stops you from getting too stressed and taking life too seriously. So that was the OG reason that I put the cat ears on. They showed up on my video show and they accidentally became part of my personal brand.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Great stuff. That kind of leads me to a question we got online here. How do you overcome the fear of being on camera? Anything you'd like?
I had it too. And I've been a public speaker for 20 years, speaking in front of audiences. And I still felt awkward because it was still a new medium. It was still something different and new because you're talking sometimes to a cell phone, right? Camera, sometimes to another camera. So you're talking to an inanimate object. And that is unusual in the beginning. And all it is practice. You just get started. And one of the things that I found for me was easiest. You can do this however you want. For me, I was on, and Periscope still exists, Twitter Live still exists. you can go live on Twitter, on Facebook, go live and just start practicing chatting with the audience, because it gives you someone to talk to who's responding back to you. You can actually call up your friends and say, hey, I want to get some practice being on camera. Will you jump on my Facebook live? Will you jump on my YouTube live? Will you jump on my Twitter live with me and just chit chat, just so I can get practice? The cool thing about that was a lot of times you start getting used to that you are paying attention to the audience and less about yourself. Then you start to get over the whole like being self-conscious, because when you're on camera, you want to be thinking about, how can I serve and help my audience? That's where your attention naturally goes to, especially as you start doing this and you forget about that it's just a camera. And so having your friends on there gives you that practice of being able to be engaged with your audience and not be so caught up in thinking about, do I look okay or whatever. And after a while, you just get comfortable with it. And you just be yourself, your normal dorky self, like I have been today. Very, you know, I mean, this is my normal self, being very animated when I talk. I'm not like kind of stiff and kind of nervous and being, you know, uncomfortable. That just starts to naturally happen. And the transition using live video for me was easiest. And then switching to pre-recorded, I was still weird when there was no audience. And I just had to talk to a camera in my house with no audience responding to me. And that took a couple times of getting used to, where I was like, I watched the video, I'm like, ooh, I'm weird. Like I'm talking kind of stiff because I'm not used to the camera not responding to me. I was so used to lives. But just do it a couple times and you start to get comfortable with it. One of the tips that I like to give people when you're live, to help you remember to look at the camera, get a little star sticker or heart sticker from the store, like the little tiny ones, and stick it next to the camera part of your phone. It'll help you remember to look up, because when you're live, your own face is on the screen oftentimes, right? Like you're looking at your own self, talking to yourself. You might have the tendency to look down a lot, and the audience will not feel like you're connecting with them. So one of the tips that I often tell people is, you know, to feel like you're actually connecting with them, remember to look up at the camera, put a little sticker there.
And don't forget to smile.
I was so bad at that.
No, you got a natural smile, because when you're not,
I had to learn it.
Yeah, you do. But that's the thing is, if you're doing a live stream, I always like to tell people, like, listen, don't come on, just smile. I even had a yellow sticky that had that little smiley face. Smile.
So I had my assistants in the back. I used to run weekend-long live events. I'd have or even when I was speaking on stage, I have an assistant in the back holding up a piece of paper with a smiley face on it, reminding me to smile. Because when you're teaching or when you're speaking, you often have to think, right? And when we think, we have our thinking face on. You have to kind of learn how to smile as you go. So I did not smile on camera in the beginning either. I learned it by being live, seeing my own face not smiling reflected back to me on my cell phone, and it taught me to smile. So just the practice of being live helped with that. And it sounds more difficult than it is. So don't let that whole thing, you know, psychologically, we trip ourselves up by thinking something's going to be really bad, so we don't do it. Do it the other way around. Just do the thing so you can realize how scary versus not scary it is. Have your friends join you on a live, just chit chat with them. You can even do a private live. Don't make it public. Look, on Twitter Live, on Periscope, you can do a private live with just your friends, so no one else in the world can see it, and just get some practice. I think that's probably going to be the easiest way for camera shy people to feel comfortable. Have your friends on there with you, make it private. There you go, done.
Yeah, and realize that they're there for the content more so than anything else. They don't care about most of the things.
That's a good point. A lot of people think, well, you have to be attractive. You have to be like a model in order to grow on YouTube, in order to grow on social. Can I tell you how many people who are not societally attractive, right? Like, what is attractive? Everybody's freaking beautiful. Like, we have these, you know, paradigms in our society that tell us only one kind of thing is really beautiful. It happens to be what's in vogue right now. Forget that, right? There's so many different kinds of beauty, number one. But number two, even if you aren't the style of in vogue looks that we have in 2020 right now, there are so many people that are not the in vogue way of looking beautiful right now who have massive channels on YouTube and every other social channel, because it's not about how you look, it's about what you're giving. the value, the entertainment, the content, the teaching, the education, the experience, the emotionality. That's what they're showing up for.
Exactly. It's you hit the nail right on the head there, Dana. Well, hey, I want to thank you so much for coming on a Sunday afternoon and joining us here. I know how hectic your life is. You've, as always, delivered value. Looking forward to the second aspect of this. For those out there, take the opportunity, dana.tip/YTCC, YouTube crash course.
You nailed it.
It's so well worth it.
So. By the way, if people are I know I'm going to get the question of like, well, what's the date? When's it going to happen? I'm going to do multiples, sometimes like daytime, sometimes evening time. So if you can't make one, you can make another one. I'll also record it. There will be replays. It's all good. You're going to be able to get it. Just make sure you sign up. Exactly.
Take advantage there. Have a great rest of your weekend, Dana. Thank you so much here. We'll see you later.
All right.
All right, guys. We're going to take a quick